It's a canvasser. The vending machine of love. Our best bet would be just to find a bunch of villages, I think. I'm just gonna kill all these sheep so I can have food. Berries. Are there more? Berry. 330 mil. Hey, don't touch, just hold the can. Get your lovin' while you're glugging on some only cans. Peaches! Give me that shit. It's got very high ratings. No, I'm sorry. It's very hydrating. My mistake. You were hiding a bush from me, you absolute bastard. Get out of here. Oh my god, this is Levi and I's song, or one of like 3 that we just fucking belt out. Oh my gosh, hell yeah. I'm not gonna belt it out here because this is... And if you wonder why I listen to this, listen, this is one of my I'm a fuckboy songs. Okay, would I ever speak to a person like this? Absolutely not. Do I think it's hilarious to listen to songs like this? Yes. Oh my gosh, wait. There's stone here. I can upgrade. Upgrades. People, upgrades. We need... Let's see. I don't even know how much. Us, last night, both of us tired as fuck. But still fucking blasting this song and like singing. What the fuck? That's why I fucked your fat girlfriend, you fucking nerd. Okay, let's cut it with the deforestation. Let's chill. Let's take a minute. Let's Oh, did I save it? I also saved you. You're welcome. You can talk to me like this any day, bestie. Thank you. Thank you for giving me permission. She's so nice, but she's so nice, but she's so nice. Okay, so we need 14, I think. Maybe. And her man is coming back, so I better make it quick. You know who you are, you piece of shit. Your girlfriend's always sucking on my dick like a Slim Jim stick. So next time you go down on her clit, tell me how my dick tastes. Tell me how my motherfucking dick tastes. This is like the exact opposite of all of my moral codes. But I love the energy that this guy brings. Like, pink guy, love him. Like, this is legendary energy, truthfully. Goes to show that none of these hoes is worth a dime. I saw more coal. Where was it? It was back here, right? Faye. Oh, you are so pretty. Why are you so pretty? I love you. What can I do with you? What is that? My uncultured white ass. What is that? Pemmican? Sounds like the nephew of a pelican. Mince pie. Fruit salad. Yummy, yummy. Fruit. Ooh, I can make fruit punch? Bro, what is that? Oh, honey. Fruit crumble. Fruit cream festival bread. That seems like kind of a long name. Fruit bait. What does that do? Can I get a fruit bat with that? I would love to get a fruit bat. I can make a ooh, fig yogurt. I like that color. That's a pretty color. Fig smoothie, fig juice, fig jelly, fig bar. I see those all the time. I still don't know what that is, but... Yummy, yummy. Literally. When you call me fucking dumb for the stupid shit I do, wanna run my back with you? Come here. No survivors. Okay, now that we've gotten away from the vending machine of love, let's switch back to our regularly scheduled volume levels. I'm gonna use this pick as much as I can until it breaks, because I don't want to be wasteful. I know that like funky looking piece of coal right here, it's actually a plant fossil. You can get these like sometimes around the coal ores. I'm really hoping we get fucking lucky and get some good shit. Not that it matters too much, because you can put any of the drops in the machine and potentially get something good. But And, like, this won't get us fucking dinosaurs. This will get us, like, Jurassic period plants, which is kind of cool. I want them to be in their little enclosures and then have, like, fucking the plants that they know and love instead of being like the fucking Jurassic Park movie where they stick these animals in our world and one of our present day plants is literally toxic to them. Remember that? Do you remember that? Yeah, that's fucked up. These guys are just trying to eat and you're poisoning them. You're fucked. Okay, let's see if we get anything. Coal, okay. Okay. Oh yeah, plant fossil. Let's go. I think I nutted a little bit. All right. Oh my gosh, I thought I left my crafting table. I was gonna sob. This is not where we're gonna live. But let's see about maybe just making a bed and sleeping here for the night. What is the energy I have right now? I'm like, it's like my brother's energy. Can he take it back? Wait. White tree! What's that? Oh, wait, but there's coal. I want to mine all the coal so I can get more plant fossils. Fuck. I have a predicament. This is an uh-oh spaghetti W's moment. Okay, okay, okay. White bed. White bed for the white man. Okay. I want to investigate this tree first, because it's right here and it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, not saying that the coal will go anywhere. Maybe it will, actually. Paper bark. What does that do? What is this? What? What? It didn't... In case you don't... I right-clicked on it. And it... Paper bark. Mind blown. Can I get more? Why not? Is it one piece of paper per tree? If so, that's so fucking wasteful. I'd rather just destroy all the sugar cane in the world than deal with one tree for one piece of paper. Realistically, does it take more to get... No, no. It's one tree for one paper, but it's not per log. But with paper, one sugar cane is technically the equivalent of one paper. I figured it out. They're trying to jip me with this fucking paper bark. Get out of here with that shit. I refuse. What can I do? Can I do anything with Thermal Foundation's copper? This is Tinker's... Can I use this in Tinker's? I mean, I'm assuming... I don't see any other coal or copper usage. Copper seeds, okay. Provides information about things. Use while sneaking to configure some blocks. Copper gear. Pulverized. What the fuck is petroleum dust? Petroleum? Copper armor. Wait, how good is that? That's literally ass. Actually, correction. I think my ass gives me more protection than that does. I do kind of like that you can make, like, a copper fishing rod, but... Ooh, copper shield. That's cool. I wish it oxidized. I would love to have an oxidized copper shield. Ah! That seems hot. Thermal mediator? Improves operational speed of adjacent blocks. I've not delved into thermal expansion at all. I'm kind of scared to. It's one of those, like, very techie mods, which is why I got it. But I'm scared, because it's not one of the tech mods I know. So, you know. Into the unknown. Where? Chaparral? What does that mean? What kind of biome is this? What is this? Wait, I didn't even look on the map. There's a fucking village over here. Let's check it out. Let's see if there's a dig site. We need a dig site. And then we need, oh wait, no, we need this gypsum. Because we combine this with paper to be able to bandage Fossils? I don't fucking understand it, okay? I'm not an anthropologist or an archaeologist or any of the ones that study bones and shit. Ooh, wait, what's this? Durian. Oh, that's that spiky fruit. Just walk to that bitch and tell her. What you tell her? Ooh, big peach. That's incorrect. That was a pomegranate. Whoops. Oh my god. Wow. It's so crazy that the world gen has it like that. This place was definitely built here and not just placed here. Ooh, it's by the water though. Oh, I'm not seeing a dig site though. Whoa! Calm down. Oh, I'm not seeing a dig site or the fucking lab. There's no lab and there's no dig site. Unless it's back here somewhere. That's not it. Okay, so this place is useless. Good to know. There's nothing I can loot. And there's nothing to see. Alright, let's keep going this way. We about to go to war. Ooh, this area's... It really is greener on the other side. Wow, look at this. It's like genuinely brighter, like a brighter green. In the orchard. Is that cow? Moo! I like the flowers. I would love to find another village. Part of me wants to just like live in a village. Because, you know, ease of access and shit. Why does that grass look like that? I don't know. Also, my inventory is about to get very full. Prepare yourselves to see me fuck up my entire inventory by filling it with food. I keep burping. Pawpaw. That's what Southerners and Hicks call their grandfather. That's not a fucking fruit. Okay, bye-bye. Listen, if it's... Oh, that makes sense. Pigs would eat onions. That tracks. I was about to judge, but I could see it. I get it. Okay, we need to make a house ASAP because my inventory is now full and I have nowhere to put my findings. Ooh, what about this little... Oh no, but we need a lot of space. We can live over here on this island. Is it an island? Maybe. Let's find out. Oh my gosh, this isn't the update with swimming. That was scary. What is this? Sea oats? Fuck your sea oats. Okay, fuck them. Alright, let's chop down one of these regular trees. Make a little bit of space and also so we can make chests. I'm gonna need a whole double chest just dedicated to the fucking Pam's Harvest Craft stuff. Because I know I'm gonna just go fucking crazy, go stupid with that shit. Okay. And then we'll just, I guess we'll just do one regular chest for everything else. Am I gonna, like, live here permanently? Possibly. Hard to tell. A paper just attacked me. It just assaulted me. I put that back up. I have so many papers just chilling on my wall. Get up there. Stay, bitch. Okay. Anyway. Put all this shit in here. That, and then... Okay. Technically, this isn't Pam's Harvest Craft, but I'm gonna count it as it, because it's, like, same area. You use it in the Pam's Harvest Craft. I don't know. Alright. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's fucking insane. I'm a little bit batshit, but it's fine. Okay. Now I can break this and get more. Sweet potato! Hot take, but I love sweet potato fries. I love sweet potato stuff. Like, some people fucking hate sweet potato. They prefer literally any other kind of potato. I like sweet potato. I think it's yummy. I think it's really good. Is that... Oh, spice leaf. I thought it was a tea leaf. I was like, ooh, we can make tea. Not that I'll eat? Not that I'll drink tea in real life, but listen, I can live my... Oh, I've heard of soursop. I think I've seen someone try to eat it, and there's like there were so many different people saying different things. Like some people were like, "Oh, it's not ripe yet. Oh, it's rotten." I'm glad I'm not part of fruit talk, because if I was, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna try this fruit for the first time," and all these people are giving me different answers, I don't know what the fuck I would do. I'd probably lose it. I'd probably commit murder. I don't know. It's hard to tell, truthfully. Ooh, 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 ooh. Gooseberries. Oh, they're not fucking... They're not done. Upsetting. Oh, wait. We have... I'm gonna put some torches in the area so we don't fucking die. Not that it matters, because we can set our spawn, but... Oh, I thought it was a cave. Oh. That scared me. That scared me a little bit too much, realistically. There. Is there a lot of space still uncovered? Yes. Am I gonna make like 4 more torches? Also, yes. Okay. Okay. Good enough. This will keep us at least protected. Somewhat. So, that's good enough for me. I love that I didn't even have to cook this chicken. I just fucking got it for free. It came free with my Xbox. Alright, let's cook these. Actually, let's go down this rabbit hole. How do we make the fossil grinder? Because we need this to be able to grind up, like, all fossils. Plant fossils, the fucking... Okay, so we're gonna have to go mining. Major, big time. Oh, I forgot that there's an uncrafting table with the Twilight Forest mod. Okay, let's go sleep while our meat cooks. Yummy! Let's make some torches. Bit of a jump, but I'm hoping that we can maybe go mining. Ooh, actually, you know what? Let's get a little bit more wood. Let's chop down another one of these easy breezy beautiful cover girl trees. And then we will make a shovel and we'll make our own little mining area here so I don't go too far and so I don't get lost, because my sense of direction is horrendous. Truthfully, I don't think I'd be able to survive out in the wild one day. Thank you, Banjo! Welcome in. Okay, let's make that shovel. Let's make some more torches, too. Because if I go into a mine with this wimpy-ass 8 torches, the bully of the underground is going to beat my ass. I'm not going to last a day. I will get fucking eaten or something. It'll be a whole thing. It'll be bad. Alright, we'll just fucking make a mine here, and hopefully we don't fall into it. Probably foreshadowing. I will more than likely fall into it, realistically. Ew! I didn't think this through. We're not going to talk about it. Oh, wait. Okay, we're fine. I may have overreacted just a little bit. We're okay. Screaming, crying, throwing up. That's amazing. Okay. Make room! Fuck you. Okay. I'm sobbing on the inside. But that's okay. We'll find more. Flash forward to the next hour and we don't find any. I will call the cops. I'll call the cops on Minecraft for not letting me find this. Can sand just not sand for a moment? I hate sand in real life and in game. I'm one of those people that hates everything about sand. I hate that it like gets in between your toes. Some people fucking love that shit. I hate that it gets in between your toes. I hate that it fucking gets in all your crevices and never leaves. That's why I hate glitter. Because glitter's the same way. It just never fucking leaves you. Like once you've touched a piece of glitter, that's it. You're done for. Like if this was like some fucking weird apocalypse situation where glitter is the downfall of the world, I'm surviving because you couldn't fucking pay me $1 million to touch a piece of glitter. Okay, Anakin Skywalker. I am Anakin Skywalker. I refuse to step foot on a desert planet. I think I would. Microraptor. I can have a tiny little itty bitty little raptor. But yeah, if there was such a thing as a desert planet, which I mean there is technically, but like if we knew of one and we were able to just like vacation to one, you couldn't catch me dead. You couldn't fucking like I could never. Didn't they didn't they like fucking bury his lightsaber on a fucking desert planet? I would have haunted those motherfuckers. I would have been like, how fucking dare you? Do you have any idea how much I hate this place? Take me home. Okay, how do I... Nope, that's just not how you spell that whatsoever. Yes, okay. Plaster and bandage. We need... Oh, fuck, I got rid of the white wool. Do you think it might still be over there? Yep, it was hidden on Tatooine, the one place you never... Literally. Oh my gosh. I would haunt every single person that had anything to do with that. I'd be like, you're dead to me. My force ghost is just gonna fucking beat the shit out of you. I'm gonna lead the bad guys directly to you. My little force ghost motherfucker is gonna show up and be like, they're over here! And get your ass killed by the Sith. Okay, I want to see if my fucking... I don't think they're over here. I shouldn't have massacred all of the sheep and then proceeded to throw away the goodies. No, see, I know you hate Kylo Ren in those movies, but what I would literally do is I'd scream. Like, I'd show up directly in front of Kylo Ren and be like, yo, I know exactly where they are. Come with me. And I'd lead Kylo Ren directly to them so that he can do his fucking, like, torture methods. Because have you seen his torture methods? Honestly, go off, King. Kind of sick, not gonna lie. I keep avoiding these bushes. Can I run through these bushes or are they... Uh-oh, no touches. Not these bushes. These bushes are fine. I love these bushes. These bushes give me things that make my little brain go, yeah. No, those are fine. What about this one? Oh, okay. I'm just fucking delusional then. Good to know. Okay. Sick. I do respect a good torture method. Right. I don't remember exactly how it works, but I think he literally like forces the information he wants out of your brain. So it's like it fucking hurts because it's in your brain. I don't remember how he does it or like I said, or how any of it works. But I just remember him torturing a couple people with it. I think he tortured Oscar Isaac's character that way. We fucking love Oscar Isaac. Soggy garden. I want my garden to be soggy. Okay. Can we find any more sheep? Come here. Wait. I'm gonna think about it. Yeah, the forced voodoo shit. I have wheat. Okay. We're gonna lead them back over to the host. We're gonna lead them over to the host. We're gonna lead them over to the Hooters. And we are going to trap them in a hole. And then we are going to force breed them and enslave them. Come on. Come on. I know you're into this shit. Let's go. Come on. I don't even have a pen for you. I'm just gonna put like a fucking hole in the ground, and then when I'm sick of you, I'm gonna bury you in that exact hole. Every single one of you. Not a thought behind those eyes. Just how I like it. Alright, let's go, guys. Squad out. Also, these fucking islands are crazy. Do you see this goddamn map? Like, what is this? This is like what you would draw when you do one of those rice maps for D&D. But like, instead of just spilling the rice, you're like, here's a group over there. You know? You tried to do like Salt Bay and it just didn't work. Instead, you got fucking grains of rice everywhere. Everywhere but the paper. Come on. We have a whole other island to cross. You better hurry your asses up or I'm killing you right here, right now. That's right. That's what I thought. Pick it up a bit. Come on. It is 8:01 in the morning and I refuse to be treated like this. Excuse me? You better be following me still, or I swear to God. They're not. They're not. Okay, we're gonna focus on you two, because if I can at least get you two over here and get you in a hole, great, fantastic, awesome. Yeah, look at him. He's fucking fleeing. Ah, I can see my torches. Come here. Come here. Dude, I don't know if I could do the Jennifer Coolidge voice, but I just, oh my gosh, it's like a little land bridge. Watch your step. But I saw a TikTok that was like her singing a song. Or, well, it was like an AI version of a song that someone else sang. And it was like if Jennifer Coolidge sang this song. And I fucking lost my marbles. I'll have to find it so I can show you guys. I'm just not going to hold back my burps anymore. I don't know why I started. And I don't know where they're coming from. I've drank nothing but water today. So I'm not burping soda. Oh, you know what? I think I know what it might have been. It might have been my bagel. My breakfast bagel from Dunkin'. Alright, guys. In the hole. Come on. That's right. Now make fucking babies. Thank you. Okay, I have to go kill your friends now. Because they refuse to follow me. Wait, what was that? Jicama! I've never seen that. I know of it. I know it exists, and I've heard the name before. I've never seen it in Minecraft, though. That's cool. Like, I've also never seen it in real life, realistically. This place is perfect for planting a bunch of sugarcane. Okay, I have to go find these sheep. So I can fuck them up. But we're too shy to ever say it. Part of me wanted to take an edible, but also part of me was like, no, that's gonna make you more sleepy. And that probably wouldn't be a good idea for a max 24-hour subathon, considering how fucking loopy and tired I was at the end of my last 24-hour stream. And I think I got more sleep that time. Wait, this isn't enough, is it? It is. Thank fuck. I would cry. I would hide my face in the hood of this polar bear onesie, and I would sob until there's so much accumulated tear flow that I will just, like, fill up the hood, and then the scarlet cloud on my forehead will just wipe away. Okay. So we have pretty much everything we need other than the paper, but that's fine. We have it planted. It's okay. We'll try to find more. I don't know why I'm doing all this when I don't even have the, like, I don't have the device to be able to grind the fucking fossil anyway. I'm just a little silly goofy. Actually, let me put this in my offhand. I don't have a shield yet, so I don't have to worry about overlap. Ooh, Inferium. You are inferior to me in every way. Wait, isn't there a Doctor Who quote that's like that somehow? Hold on. Dalek inferior quote. No. Oh, wait, no, superior. Sorry. No. We're going to do Bed Wars. Don't worry. The minimum is 6 hours, technically, but because I wanted to be able to fit all of the group games, and a lot of people are only able to game like later, um, I figured that we'll go past the minimum, regardless, and we'll go at the very least. Bed Wars will be the last game. Did you just reference Doctor Who? I'm nutting. Have you not? Have I not sent you the shit about the Daleks? I know very little about Doctor Who. Um, like I watched some of the first season. I think maybe even into the second season. I don't remember. Um, but the oh my gosh, here it is. Um, there was so many TikToks going around about the Daleks versus the Cybermen, and it was like this series of quotes that they were quoting, and it's so good. It's literally the cyber leader and this Dalek going back and forth. And the Dalek goes, "We would destroy the Cybermen with one Dalek. You are superior in only one respect. What is that? You are better at dying." Like, the Daleks are so fucking sassy for what? What reason do they have for making the Daleks such fucking sass queens? Like, that's insane. No, you're alright, Ender. We've still got fucking 6 hours minimum. I keep saying 6 hours minimum, but realistically it's not a 6 hour minimum. Daleks are sluts. I'm allowing that comment to be permitted. Don't block that, Twitch. Daleks are sluts. I know. I keep accepting them as soon as I see them. I've got a lot of like overarching words that could be used hilariously but also could be insults, like genuinely insults, so that I've got as like flag terms. So prosperity shards. These are used for the crystal shit. I can't contain my foul language. What the fuck? What is Bean Boozled? You haven't heard of the Bean Boozled challenge? Oh my god. I think this started sometime when I was in middle school. Um it's you might recognize the packaging. These things, they're different flavored jelly beans, and it's called the Bean Boozled challenge because they have identical looking jelly beans. Right? Like they've got right, Ender? That's insane. But the jelly beans look identical, but there's two of each kind. So it's like a fucking toss up if you're gonna get a good flavor or a bad flavor. So like for instance, the blue, there's like a light blue in here. It could be either toothpaste, which was probably like your best option as far as like the bad flavors. Toothpaste or berry blue. Um, let's see. Oh, you can see this one. Which is honestly, in my opinion, bad either way. Rotten egg or buttered popcorn. That yellow guy right there. It actually is more like a white with yellow spottage, but let's see. Barf or peach. Stink bug or toasted marshmallow. I had a stink bug in my room the other day. I don't like the smell. I mean, you're not supposed to, but it literally just smells like cucumber in my opinion, and I hate it. It's ew. I dislike it very much. What song? Oh, Something in the Orange. That's not the vibe for right now. This is like an upbeat moment. We're not muddying it with Something in the Orange. Switches to fucking Pitbull. That's hilarious. Oh, thank you, Spotify. You understand. Oh, God. Oh, shit. I've been forgetting to put torches down. Thank you, Luna. Thank you. Let's see. You get your name on my body. Where do you want your name, and do you want it to be the full username? I had a stink bug crawling in my monitor a few days ago, and I thought it was part of the video. No, I've totally done that. I've 100% done that. I get so many like teensy tiny little bugs. Um, and at first I think that they're like part of the game or whatever. And then I realize, and then I can't fucking kill them because they're on my monitor. Like I try to hit them lightly so I'm not fucking breaking my monitor, and it just doesn't work. Where do you want your username on my body? The options for visibility. Oh my gosh, I got a scratch on my arm. Shadow. The options are face, which Scarlet has taken up part of my forehead. Um, hands, arms. Levi's right here. But yeah, wherever you want it to be that is visible. I mean, if you want it left cheek, okay. Your left or my left? Let's clarify this. Your left or my left? Just so nobody's upset. And I'll try to write yours backwards. I couldn't do Scarlet's for the life of me. My brain was fucking struggling. Any left? Here, I'll do your left. Okay. Here, let's switch to just chatting so I can see myself better. And also so it's mirrored, so that helps me. Oh god. Okay, hold on. We're gonna drag OBS from my second monitor to my first monitor so I can see it better. Okay. You funny enough? What kind of cheek? The visible one. Because I'm not naked. Let's see, okay. You picked the cheek that gets more acne. Why? I couldn't tell you. It just does. Okay. This is gonna be so fucking slow. I apologize in advance. I fucked up. It's okay. It's still legible. This way. Not that way. This way. August. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't have the brain cell today. It's probably the worst day to not have the brain cell, but I don't have the brain cell. We're gonna... Yes. Okay. How many subs I gotta redeem to see some see some ass? That's a good question. I actually want... It's gonna be totally illegible. I'm so sorry. I want to think about how many subs would I take to sell myself on the internet. Oh, sorry, I took our shade. You did, you motherfucker. I knew I forgot something. Did I leave it in the back seat? Is that what happened? I left the brain cell in the back seat and you're just like, yoink. Okay. How many? Okay, there are 2 L's. La. Yeah, you did. It was under Fred. Fuck, I didn't think to look under Fred. My dad is gonna have questions tomorrow when I go to the family dinner. Boom. It's legible. It's not... It looks like a child. It looks like if Luna, as a child, was writing this, I think. Or like if I was giving out like fucking invitations to like my birthday party and I wrote on them instead of my parents, and it was like kindergarten, and I was like, here you go. This is... No, child Luna. Like, you know how you're... Like, this is child handwriting. This is like if you wrote your name on a test. Yeah. Yep. I have a family dinner tomorrow. I don't think I told my family about this either. I mean, I told the immediate family, the family I'm currently living with, but everyone that's going to the dinner tomorrow has no idea about this. Oh my gosh, and it's the weekend before my birthday. My birthday's technically Tuesday. But it's the weekend before my birthday, so we'll probably be going out to dinner. Like, going out to dinner for my birthday. Oh my god. I might walk into a cheesecake factory looking like this. Oh god, it's okay. I knew this going into it. I'm dedicated. I won't fucking film a video in public, but I'll I'll walk in public looking like this. People paid me to have their name on my body. That's exactly what happened. Oh, if it was the right crowd, I could have been like, and you don't want to know the names that you can't fucking see, but it's my family. I can't say that. It's okay. Maybe I'll say it to my college friends that don't follow Twitch shit. Dude, I might walk into the two favorites from my family for birthday dinners are Olive Garden and Cheesecake Factory. I'm walking into one of those two with names all over my body. I think the best one so far has been Levi's, just because it's kind of discreet and also it's really funny, just being able to do the mustache. I think if I decide to attempt to wipe any of these off, I think Levi's is the only one I'm gonna keep. Okay, I need... There we go. I need more cobble. I need to make another one of these. Good. It's just how it goes. Wait, are we gonna work this week? Is there a chance I'll be with you doing the paperwork shit on my birthday? Honestly, I'm down for that. Wait, I want to test and see what these guys in the hole will eat. I know they'll eat wheat. Will they eat... What do I have duplicates of? Will they eat carrots? Ooh, or barley? Hold on. They'll eat barley. Good to know. This plain green is made is perfect. If you're willing to take me with you, we can have a party in the office. I'm just fucking shoving my gob with berries. Girl, I guess a what? Okay. Stop that. Please, I get better plans for us to work on your birthday. Let's see. Oh, I forgot I had the hole down here. Okay. I don't have any blocks. Here. Ooh, there's... some sort of shard. I can't remember the name. It was like prospect shard? Fucking some... Prosperity! Fuck! My brain is working overtime to figure out that name. And I didn't even get it right. I knew it wasn't fucking prospect. But I couldn't figure out what it was. Do I even need as much of this as I'm getting? I wonder. What is that? Lead? Diamond? I'm sorry? Wait. Oh, okay. These are incorrect, apparently. Because I just mined one that said iron with stone. So... Ooh, can we get a plant fossil out of this? Dude, he's so fucking cute. Every time I just glance over to see if he's still over there, because I just fucking zone out, and then he's gone sometimes. Every time I look, he's just fucking spread out in a different way, and he's so goddamn cute. Look at his little feet. I love him. Do you think if I move in, your mom would let me bring my cat with me? No, I don't know how the cats would do. I also don't know how he would do around other cats. He literally has not been around another cat in years. Except for the ones outside that he fights. That's a different story. He also wasn't bad with his sister, but he wasn't kind. He ate all the food all the time. Prosperity whore. Prosperity whore. Because it was late night and I was thirsty. Oh my gosh, you guys haven't seen this. Oh, I need to show you guys something I made. Ooh. So. Ooh. Can I just... No. Okay, so it is a pickaxe thing. Can I mine it perhaps with just... Nope. Okay. Annabelle's got... She probably does have dementia. I think she could take this. See, he's not like mean, but like I said, he just eats all the food. Like that was his main issue with his sisters, that he just ate all the food all the time, so she had nothing to eat. But he's also just like a fat ass who'll eat literally anything, so. Okay. Wait. Oh, I thought there was iron. I was gonna scream. But I gotta show you guys. Levi and I went to the mall a while ago, and I bought Legos. I bought Legos, and I made these flowers. Look at them. They're little sunflowers. I put them in the little... I put them in the little, like... what are they? Scented oil container that Levi gave me. I was gonna fill it up with, like, more scented oil shit and the diffusers and all that. And it ended up being, like, the perfect little pot. I love it. It's cute. I want to get all of them now. I also got Amelia. I sent it to Amelia because my sister, and I was like, "Look at this! Look at what I made!" And now it's on her fucking But now she's asking for Legos for like her birthday and Christmas and stuff. Yes, I love the fucking floral Lego set. They came out with a bunch of succulents. I want to get, yes, I want to get every one of the Lego bouquets or bouquets, however you like to say it. I was talking with Levi about this. I like the like more decorative Lego sets where it's not like for any specific show or movie or video game or anything. I like the ones that are like fucking you could just see in your house as just like general decor. Like I was trying to find it online and I couldn't find it. But I like the turntable, I think it was. I like the turntable, or maybe it was or maybe it was something else. But I think it was a turntable. I like the turntable one if that's what that was. Oh, I was like, I want that eventually. It's a fucking Biomes of Plenty fucking thing. Oh, you have the bonsai tree? Oh my god, I want that one so fucking bad. I was like, I was telling Aracaria. Ooh. But I was telling Levi when we went to the mall and we went into the Lego store, I was like, I really want all the Lego bouquet sets and all those, except I want to get them when I have like a set apartment or wherever that I'm probably going to be at for years, because I'm planning to hopefully move like out of state within the next couple years. So I didn't want to get a Lego set and then have the possibility of it breaking during a move, or like having several Lego sets to worry about, you know? So I was like, oh, I get it eventually. Bonsai tree is on my list of like possibilities that I want to get in the future. And this was like, this Lego set was a compromise because this is one of like cheaper ones. This was like $15-16, I think, as opposed to most of the bouquet sets that are like $50, $50-60. But this was a compromise because it's a smaller set. It's less complicated, but it'll fulfill the need for Legos that I have. Oh my god, if you kill me, I will beat your entire family up and then bring you their corpses. What's that? Enchanted Scroll of Haste 3 can be used on an ally. Hold right click to cast this spell. I'm not gonna do that. Essence of Undeath. Okay. That means that, yes, we had this entire taco before. I didn't mean to. We had this entire conversation earlier with Big Dude. But yeah, that's totally fine. You're in and out all day, Big Dude. That's totally okay. But we had this conversation, and the first thing Big Dude asked was, is a hot dog a sandwich? And I said that I don't think it is, because it's not two separate pieces of bread. Yes! I can't believe I fucking said that. I can't believe I fucking said that. But I said, what the fuck are you? And why do you look like a penis coming out of the fucking... Did anyone else notice the eyes at the very end? Or like, what just fucking happened there? It looked like a penis just coming out of the smoke. And as I went to point it out, it was like, no, I have eyes. Huh? But, when Big Dude first came in and he asked the question, is a hot dog a sandwich? I was like, I think it's more of a taco because it's not two separate pieces of bread like a sandwich. It's one piece of bread, but like, well, not bread like strictly, but like one piece of wheat, I guess. But like curved or whatever. And then Big Dude brought up, like, then what about Subway sandwiches? Because they're not cut all the way through. And I was like, oh, I guess they're also tacos. He did too. He just fucking popped in, was like, hello, and then left. That's the bitch from Haunted Mansion. Find that bitch on the fucking casting crew Google search. One single wheat. A hot dog bun is cut though. Yeah, it's like, it's not cut entirely through though. Which is what, in my mind, doesn't make it two separate pieces of bread, so then it's not a sandwich. You know? Maybe I'll go directly to Subway HQ and be like, I hate to break it to you, but I have some bad news. These Subway sandwiches that you're going on about and making a fortune off of, yeah, those are actually tacos. You should rebrand into a Mexican chain. And then they'll probably kick me out and call the police and get a restraining order. Which is okay. Ooh, good song. I mention this all the time. This is one of the... See? Hot dog buns for mini subs. There you go. So if one is a taco, then the other's a taco. I'm just saying. But this is one of two songs that I had on my fucking flip phone in middle school and early high school, I think. I had a better flip phone. I had one of those like nice flip phones that had more options to it and everything, and it slid up but then also slid to the side. So you could have like a whole keyboard. And then I lost it within days of getting it for my 10th birthday. So I was then given an older, shittier flip phone. And one of the two songs on it when I got it was I'm a Bee by Black Eyed Peas. Okay, I came from this way because I remember looking at this log and being like, what the fuck? Wait, I have another pick. We're fine. It's okay. We're good. 21st century telefinity. Can I? No. I tried that before and it didn't work. What's the saying? Something about insanity? Oh, it's funny too because the two songs that were on that phone were from the two previous owners, my dad and my mom, and the taste difference was so funny. Like, this was my dad's song, and then there was a country song from when my mom had it. Black Eyed Peas go insanely hard for no reason at all. You're so right. What right do they have to fucking shake the earth with every song they have like this? I remember my first iPod back in the day having like 3 episodes of Chowder that I watched nonstop and basically memorized. That is so fucking funny. I remember having some sort of iPod. I feel like it wasn't an iPod and it was like a off-brand iPod or something. But I remember being part of this club. The first song I ever downloaded was a FNAF song. Which one though? That's the important part. I got a phone really late. That's so fair. I got my own phone at 10 because it was needed. Like, they needed to be able to gain contact with me. So But I think otherwise they wouldn't have given me a phone at 10 because I was so fucking irresponsible at that age. Like I said, I literally lost that phone within days of my birthday. And then I ended up finding it years later in the couch. And when I say in the couch, I mean like fucking embedded in it. Like we got rid of that couch and it was like in fucking shreds, and the phone was somehow inside the couch. Like I couldn't find a way. I couldn't figure out how it got in there, but it was in there. I got my first phone for the same reason divorced parents win. So true. If divorced parents gets you anything, it's a phone early in life. But I remember I got an iPad or like an iPad adjacent something, some like little music player. And I was part of this club at West Road Elementary School. Name drop, I don't care. I'm never gonna fucking see that place again. But in elementary school, they had this club called the Heart Run and Walk Club. And it was supposed to be this club. I think it was like, depending on the years and everything, I think it was around the time when Michelle Obama was fucking the entire school system up by being like, here's your healthy options, and like destroying our fucking lunches even more than they were already destroyed. So our school was like, oh, to make sure everyone's fit, we're going to have you do this club. And I was in it just as something to do, but we either would walk, because the like where the buses met up was in this like circle in front of the building. So we either walked that circle for the entirety of the time the club was going on, or because the way the school was arranged, it was like a big square, or we would walk inside if it was raining or whatever outside. We would walk the like entirety of the school. And I remember having an iPod or some music player with me, and I remember we used to get in trouble for playing We Will Rock You, because everyone would do the like they do the whole thing with their legs and everything, and they'd clap, and we'd get everybody in on it. And the people that were like monitoring it, like monitoring the club and making sure everyone was walking, which is so fucking stupid. It's a club. Like, it's supposed to be like a fun after school activity or whatever. But anyone that was like monitoring it, this one specific lady usually would be like, stop that. We still don't know why. She never told us. She was just like, don't do that. I also remember losing my fucking mind in that same club over Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus. And now when I listen to either of those songs, I repeatedly am being thrown back into elementary school in that fucking club, being yelled at for singing We Will Rock You, and or losing my mind and singing out loud Party in the USA. Song was Break My... Ooh, DA Games is good though. I love DA Games songs. Them, the Stupendium, and then who else? I've never noticed how they're literally coming in the background of this song. I've never noticed. Can you get out of here, please? I don't have my axe out. Why? Couldn't tell you. I just don't. Can you fuck off? Go away. I'm mining. Let's see. I have literally a playlist called I'm a Gamer, or like So Yeah, I'm a Gamer, based off of Charlie Slimesicle's I'm a Gamer. Okay. It's based off of Charlie Slimesicle's line of merch that literally just says in like a shitty font, so yeah, I'm a gamer, with 3 Minecraft hearts on it. Oh my god, JT Music. Fucking love them. Nerd Out, JT Music, The Stupendium, and DA Games, which are all funny enough on this playlist. Let's play some. Let's play this fucking playlist. We'll turn it up just a little bit more. It's on shuffle. Oh my gosh, absolutely anything by CG5. Right? I fucking love JT Music, dude. They do the best fucking songs for games. And they leave all these little fucking Easter eggs that if you know the song, you're like, I remember that part. Oh, fuck. Oh, I cannot forget The Living Tombstone. I've got fucking Discord on this playlist. Even though it's not a game song, it feels like it. So it gets a pass. My pick is gonna break. We're gonna have to go back to the surface. Can you hear me calling? Calling out to... What's this? Sorry. This body I must renew. I'll do any... See? There you go. Discord is an honorary game song, as it should be. Absolutely anything for you. I would be a webbed in ink, swim or sink, watching out for everyone out of the blue. This nightmare's coming true. I used to be so beautiful, now look at me. My actions are undutiful, it's clear to see. All eyes on me. I can... What? I kind of want to find that lava pool, but also I don't. Because it's directly under me. Some... Cherries? Yummy! Won't you set me free? Okay, let's add these to our ever-growing stockpile. Absolutely anything for you. Okay, we need... What do we need? We need to smelt this shit. Because I refuse to leave things unsmelted, ever. What else do I have on this playlist? I mentioned the artists. Build Our Machine. Rapture Rising, which I've sang on this channel repeatedly because I fucking love that song. The Fine Print by the Stipendium. I've never played the game that's for. And I've never watched anything for that game. But I love the song. Oh my gosh, Evolve by Nerd Out. Is that the... No, it's not. I don't think. There's a song that I rant and rave about Ark Survival Evolved sometimes on this channel. I would love... I was gonna say I'd love to have the space to play it, but I think I might now. But Ark Survival Evolved is a very fucking beefy game, and you can literally... I'm gonna... Just a little bit. But you, like, fucking... It's like what we're doing now with Jurassic Craft. You tame dinosaurs. You can, like, tame them, you can breed them. You basically make, like, a fucking dinosaur army, and then there's, like, crazy dinosaur bosses that you can defeat and shit, and it's got, like... It's like a mix between, like... dinosaurs and, like, that whole period, and then, like, futuristic shit, which is really fun. And it is this song! They took this song and they put it in the credits for the game. Oh my gosh, I lost my shit when I found out. Don't know if I have the strength for this. I'm not. I'm playing 1.12.2. Rapture Rising, our old song, literally. I remember being at camp and us doing karaoke with this song. Everything is dangerous. Yes, the fine print does go insanely fucking hard. Honestly, if you like dinosaurs, if you ever have a chance, fucking play Ark Survival Evolved. I got it forever ago. I think I have some of the add-ons. There's so many fucking, like, additional things you can get for the game. You get, like, the default shit. Yeah. You get the default shit, which is, like, specific maps, like the island and a couple others. And if you get Scorched Earth and Aberration, you get more maps that you can play on. And then there's not more dinosaurs, but I think there's more shit. Like, I think if you are on Scorched Earth, maybe there's dragons or something. It's insane. Yeah, it's huge. That's why I only play it on my Xbox right now. But I think I have the space now on my PC, so I might be able to play it on here. But yeah. Ah! It's the dick! It's... See? There were no eyes. There were no eyes until the very end. Am I being haunted? What is this? Am I being pranked? Is this that fucking show that Gaten Matarazzo, however you pronounce his last name, had, where it was just fucking him playing pranks on people? Shadow, where'd you go? Oh, he's actively leaving right now. Okay. I looked over at the cat came and I was like, where'd he go? But yeah, if you have an Xbox or like some other console, I'd recommend probably playing it on there. Even then, it's still very bulky. But yeah. I know that by the time I finish it. Yeah, that's so fair. But yeah, Scorched Earth, I think maybe has dragons or something. Which I mean, hell yeah. I don't remember if Aberration has anything. And then they recently came out with a Nordic-based map that has a bunch of other shit to it. I never played it, but I think my brother did. I'll have to ask him what he thought of it. Excuse me, but they're like always coming out with new shit for that game. It's really fun. I will say, my brother and I used to try to play it together, but we would do split screen, and it got so annoying so fast. Because I don't know if they still do. I haven't played with anybody in a while with that game, but there used to be like you could only go a certain distance from the other people you're playing with, so it would like literally stop you, and whoever was hosting, would literally fucking drag you across the map if you were too far away. It was so shitty. That was like my one big the fine print. But yeah, that was my like one gripe about the game, honestly. The graphics are really good too, in my opinion. Welcome to space. What were you expecting? It's a dangerous place. Thank you for investing. Go there for your orders. Fill up these quotas. We'll bill for your quarter. Report to your foreman, but watch for marauders, cause if you get eaten, there's fees for your mourners. Prosperity's there in the care of magnates, and halcyon heaven awaits. Okay, so same stuff as the copper then. Maybe a couple different things. You've been trapped in that ship for an awful long time, so perhaps you have simply forgot what you signed. Oh, honestly, did you not read the colony policy? I played Ark on Xbox once years ago and didn't understand a single thing. It was so confusing for me, small brain. That's fair. I don't remember if I learned it on my own or if I watched YouTube videos or what. I know that Markiplier played it once, and I'm so sad about that to this day. I feel like I might have seen someone play it, but also my brother had a tendency of pulling me into games he liked. He was like very much a game hopper. He would play things for a very short period of time, be really, really invested in them, and then get bored because he had ADHD and got bored very, very easily. He'd get bored and then hop to another game, and almost always they were like either a survival game or they were like a very big strategy game. He's been really into games where you can like have a whole kingdom and like fucking conquer areas, and like there's all the little shit to it, like there's lords and you can make an army and everything. It's just like those type of big, really detailed games he like enjoys a lot. The ale to cures what ails you. 0G brew your favorite flavor. So work till you bleed ennoble by labor. If you'd rather drop dead, that's fine, but you know to drop it down, yeah, there's a fine. So you do your job and I'll do mine. I gotta beat a 6 foot deep bottom line. Oh, I gotta check my, my sugar cane, because I need it for the plaster and bandages. I fucking love that line. Humanity's interest, on account that you're all on the count. Is this the reason I'm being haunted? If I see her again tonight, I know that something's fucky wucky. Okay. Just so we're a little bit safer. As it should, honestly. So it's the right to live, to earn the right to die. What? When did I throw a winter squash? Why I keep doing that? Here, here, initial here. Welcome to the family. So good. What's next? Only artist that makes me want to actually play the game. That's so fair. Watch as we reanimate our corpses you abandoned, dismantled, or mishandled. We won't be skipped and swayed. Ah. Immortalized. You're the creator, you traitor. Hey! There's no vaccine to cure dirty need. From now you must build up a machine, you die tonight. Get out of here. Who asked you to be here, bats? Who invited you to our party? Literally go away. Go do what you do best and commit Sudoku in a water pit. Wink, wink. If you know, you know. To initiate the pain, a venom stain, the night remains, but the ending's always just the same, no game. Watch your head to the beat of death as you draw your last eternal breath. Sensations about invasions set a course right through your veins. Don't be mean to the bats. Listen, they're in my way. Okay, they're being annoying little assholes. I would love them at any other point, but leave me be, okay? I'm already stressed enough in this fucking cave. I get too anxious when caves have several ways to go, because then I'm like, oh no, I'm forgetting something. I need this playlist, please share. Bet. Actually, let's see if this works. I haven't ever done this. Perfect. Try that. But now you must build up a machine, you die tonight. Do 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 tonight. Build up a machine, you die tonight. Tonight. Build up our machine, you die tonight. I'm aware that your soul is now divided. We catch you not toy with unbroken chains. Hell yeah. So prepare for adventure, a whole new creature from the darkest side. We can't take away the pain we feel, created as monsters that come. Safe from the end now, alive but dead inside. Your heart beats now, join the crowd. We are but harmless serpentines. Hey, I am alive, immortalized. You're a creator, you traitor. Hey, there's no vaccine to cure dirty need. For now you must build up a machine, you die tonight. I am alive, immortalized. You're the creator, you traitor. Welcome back, big dude. To cure dirty need. For now you must build up a machine, you die tonight. Tonight. Build up a machine, you die tonight. Ooh, a stick. What are these called? Twig fossils. I was gonna say we might have enough to make the fossil grinder, but we don't. How was the fall? Give us a call. We're happy you just dropped in. I'll be so popular when I show all the monsters what I just brought in. Hey, Papyrus, mind your manners. Kenneth Sands, no time for banter. Excuse my brother, he's a bit eccentric. You're just lazy and apathetic. Call me what you want. I got thick skin. Mess with us takes a lot of spine. Relay to your determination, because we monsters have our motivation. Betrayed us and left us burning. One day we'll make our way back to the surface. Your travels, your sins will follow. Honestly, I haven't listened to JT Music's newer stuff. I have to go on a fucking JT Music binge. Monster, now you should know. You've cut this story down to the bone. Thanks, buddy. Honestly, high key, Levi is Sans. They can't resist a good pun. Is your heart full of evil or full of love? Dare you to try a bite of spaghetti. Smells like the creepy pasta's ready. Stop it, Sans. I'm done with the joke. Sounds like someone's funny bone's broken. Yay to your determination. I really don't think I have very many songs on this playlist. Like I said, I need to go on a JT Music binge at the very least, if I don't just binge everyone. You might even decide to start talking to flowers. Who's the real monster? Now you should know. You've cut this story down to the bone. Someday I'll join the royal guard. When I catch this child, can it be that hard? Look, if I'm being honest, my brother ain't nothing but harmless. I know you and all that you want. You'll get a lot more from Sans than a font. The deeper you go, the messier it gets. If I had it my way, you'd already be dead. Kidding, if you couldn't tell. I get so bored I amuse myself. Why do I have a piece of gravel? Why did I just keep that? You're kinda boned. There's so many fossils. I have to really get the plaster and bandages. They're scared of tiny children. Not so sure you'll get her with that. You know I got a knack for the trombone. But ain't two skulls better than one? Was there anything else this way? Oh, there's a lot. Okay. Can play again if you sell your soul. Oh. Fuck, wait. That's not gonna do anything, I don't think. Okay. What? Hello? Hello? No? Okay, I'm gonna go back up. Don't do that. Stop that. But I've a nagging fear someone else is pulling at the strings. Something terrible is going down through the entire town, leaking anarchy and all it brings. I can't sit idly, no, I can't move at all. I curse the name, the one behind it all. Discord, I'm howling at the moon and sleeping in the middle of a summer afternoon. Discord, whatever did we do to make you take our world away? Discord, are we a prey alone, or are we just a stepping stone for taking back the throne? Discord, we won't take it anymore, so take your tyranny away. Ooh, is this another? There's so many of those. I should be able to make an entire skeleton with how many fucking fossils are down here for the Mosasaurus. There's like, I think there's 2 different ones that are spelled like that, but one with 2 S's and one with 1 S. And I don't know what the difference in pronunciation is. Now the world is being torn apart, a terrible catastrophe, played by a symphony, what a terrifying work of art. I can't sit idly, no, I can't move at all. I curse the name, the one behind it all. Discord, I'm howling at the moon and sleeping in the middle of a summer afternoon. Discord, whatever did we do to make you take our wood away? It's funny too because I've never been into My Little Pony whatsoever. I had a friend in middle school that was really, really into it, and I just never got into it. But this song, man, this song's fucking amazing. I don't even know how I found this song. I don't remember. I have to think on that one. I'm trying to plant a ton. Okay. Yeah, I know. Thank you for letting me know. Honestly, anyone who's willing and able and is playing the games, feel free to remind me what time it is. Just so I don't forget, since, you know, it's gaming and you can tend to lose time. Honestly, as the night goes on, I might get a little bit more muddy with that. I might really have to remind myself. I should probably get on my computer. That might be a good idea. It's okay. Levi's gonna be a couple minutes late. I'll have to generate the world. You got time. Middle of a summer afternoon. Discord, whatever did we... Oh, I was gonna make... Hello, can I walk up to you? Oh. Ooh. Beyond the ocean. Oh my gosh, this is a song. Lighthouse is waiting for me. A great chain in motion. Tell Lily I said thank you. Beneath the waves of the sea, into the city, all good things flow. The sweat on your brow is what you'll reap and sow. Carve your own fortune from salt and from sand. No gods or kings, only men. Folks told me son you won the gene pool, so I guess I had a head start on these fools. Doesn't take a winner blessed for Jack to keep cool, but isolation in the deep blue can be cruel. I descend the